For the co-main event of the evening, Frank Mir and Daniel Cormier.
Ready to fight? Ready. Let's do it.
Here we go. Fight Clock brought to you by Broken City, starring Mark Wahlberg and Russell Crowe. Own it on Blu-ray and DVD, April 30th. Rated R. Red trunks for Mir, black trunks for Cormier.
One thing Mir has to be very careful of is the hand speed of Cormier. He's very fast for a heavyweight. We saw that in the Bigfoot Silva fight, lightning fast hand speed.
Frank mentioned the fact that he was able to train with maybe the best athlete in the UFC today in John Jones on a daily basis in Albuquerque, a 205 fighter, big enough to go with Mir, but quick, much like Cormier.
Frank's opening up with a lot of kicks. He does not want Daniel to back him up against the cage and limit his movement. Nice knee to the body by Frank.
Cormier landed more significant strikes than any of his opponents in each of his 8 Strikeforce fights.
And Daniel has instigated the clinch. He's got Frank tied up against the cage here. Good punches by Daniel, good uppercut there. That was a solid shot. Nice knee to the body by Frank.
Nice body shot. Now cranking on the neck of Mir, and look for the knee. Cormier is so explosive, and the pace and pressure he keeps right here is what has made him successful.
Nice inside leg kick on the return by Frank, but a good combination by Cormier.
Cormier, born in Louisiana, was a stud wrestler at Oklahoma State.
What Frank can't do is let Daniel do this.
Yep.
Press him up against the cage and limit his ability to move. Nice knee to the body by Daniel.
Cormier really embraces the grind in that wrestling mantra that has made him so successful. His heroes are the great wrestlers like John Smith and Dan Gable, Kenny Mundy. Good shots to the body by Cormier. This type of fight will test the training camp and the conditioning of Frank Mir.
Nasty punches by Cormier.
Really working Frank over in this position.
Those kind of shots will really slow Frank down. Those are devastating. Nice knee to the body there. That one hurt him.
And again, be a huge statement for Daniel Cormier if he can defeat the former 2-time heavyweight champion.
Yeah, Frank's got to defend himself from this position. He can't let Daniel keep chipping away at him here. And for Daniel, he's doing everything he wants to do. He wants to control this clinch, and he wants to slow Frank down, batter him to the body. Nasty shots by Cormier.
Continuing to work in the clinch effectively. Cormier has said many times, as we mentioned, I knew how to compete, but I learned how to fight at AKA. And having Cain Velasquez as his main training partner, you see the results right here. Again, that hand speed of Cormier.
Yeah, he's just a step faster with his combinations. And again, this is what Cormier wants. He wants to instigate the clinch, get a hold of Frank, and beat his body up. He can control Frank here.
Nice shot.
And so far, he's limited the amount of damage that he's taken in this position.
Mir look for the kick. Cormier slipped. He's got to be careful of his neck now, though. And he's out.
His neck's only about an inch long.
Yeah, good point. Mir might be a guy who could find it.
Nice
kick.
inside leg kick. Powerful inside leg kick by Cormier.
Under 30 on the clock here. First of 3 5-minute rounds.
Frank Mir trying some really diverse kicking techniques here.
Final seconds of the first. Daniel Cormier's corner, crazy Bob Cook. Keep your head off center and keep utilizing the feints.
Yeah, and they also wanted Frank to use the front kick to the body.
Heavy kick to the leg. About a 5-inch reach advantage for Mir. Wow.
Okay.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? Cormier pressing forward again. And Frank Mir is back where he doesn't want to be. You got to circle out.
And there's the grapple up, yeah. This is what Greg Jackson wants Mir to try to avoid. Cormier, the captain of the Olympic team in 2008. Finished 4th in 2004.
Don't be surprised if you see Frank Mir pull guard. If he finds a time where he feels comfortable enough to grab a hold of a limb, it might not be a bad idea. Frank has one of the better guards, not just in the heavyweight division, but in the UFC period. Trying to get out of this position, but Daniel is so skilled in the clinch. It's something that doesn't look like a skill. It's hard to sort of quantify it to someone who doesn't understand grappling. But a guy like Cormier can really control a man up against the cage.
Yeah, Cormier stepped into the center though, Joe.
Yeah, he made his own choice, and it's probably because he wants to do that.
Yeah.
Uncork with some punches.
And right back to the grappling.
And he's controlling this. He's deciding, he's dictating completely where this fight takes place. We're 2 rounds in, halfway into the second. This is not where Frank Mir wants to be. The fight is not going the way he wants it to go. He's got to do something to change the tempo of this fight. Nice short elbow inside by Cormier.
Head fighting is prevalent here too. Mir takes a look at the clock just at the midway point of this fight. Mir was very attentive on the advice of Greg Jackson in between rounds. You can see the respect that has grown quickly for Jackson in the camp in Albuquerque from the 2-time heavyweight champion. But again, the clinch. Double underhooks.
You know, another problem that Frank's dealing with now is that all this grappling with Cormier constantly struggling to try to get out of this position is incredibly taxing. And you see how tired he is when he's trying to kick and punch. It looks like he's moving underwater. Look at this. Cormier jumped up to try to grab a hold of a guillotine, let it go, and then hit him with an uppercut.
Good knee.
It was a good knee bite by Mir. He needs more of that, for sure.
Cormier again with quick shots.
Great combination there by Cormier. Mir's got to get out of there.
Mir able to slip and counter there. Cormier, a lot of those strikes landed have been in the clinch.
And Mir would be well advised here to start throwing some kicks. If Cormier catches him and brings him down to the ground, that's what he wants anyway. This is not what he wants. He doesn't want to do that. Clinch up with him again.
Another right hand. That cracked him.
Oh, vicious shot to the body by Cormier. And then again, Cormier gets to decide where this fight takes place. And Frank can't let him be comfortable like this. He can't let him dictate.
Stop. Break.
They break. Frank Mir will take that.
Come on, let's fight.
Final seconds of the second round, though. Another strong round for Daniel Cormier. Trying to take out Frank Mir here in his UFC debut.
3 rounds and ice as well.
So we continue. Like Cormier saying, I don't want him to get a break.
Frank needs a lot more of that.
Yep.
There he goes. Catch the kick.
And he doesn't
take him to the ground.
And Frank
That's what Frank wants, but he wants to get away from this. He does not want to get involved in this. Look how easily Cormier turns him around. I mean, like a man and a child.
Yeah.
That's how good a wrestler Cormier is. We saw him lift Josh Barnett through the air and slam him to the ground with a broken hand. And Josh Barnett is an elite wrestler. He's hurt.
Big right hands again.
That's what Frank needs, a lot more of that. There he goes. This is exactly what Frank Mir needs to be doing here.
Look for the kick down.
More of that. There he goes.
To the body.
That was a solid shot to the body. And again.
And an elbow.
Those are solid shots. The best shots Frank Mir has landed. It was hard to tell from our angle, but that one knee might have went low.
Cormier again, body head.
Frank's got some time here. He's got to separate and do more of what he was doing earlier in this round.
Because in the clinch, it's all Cormier. Just like that.
There he goes again. The speed of Daniel Cormier.
His work. His work.
3 minutes remain in this fight.
His work. Come on. His work. I'm going to break you if you don't work. His work.
Any minute now, Herb Dean is going to separate these guys. And there he goes.
Mir will take it.
Yeah, he will, and he should. And this is what he wants. Frank's got to get busy. This is do or die. This is his career right here.
Yeah, this is where you swing for the fences. It's where all that extra conditioning can be a factor.
He's got to fight with desperation here, Mike. There's another nice kick. He needs more of those.
Those are
doesn't need this. He's clean here. He's got to separate, push apart, because Cormier is going to do that every time. When Frank is free, he's got to feel like Daniel Cormier is made of glue. Don't come close to him. Don't let him touch you, because you're going to get stuck. He drops down for a leg.
Frank wouldn't have minded if Cormier jumped up
Not
at this
at
point,
all.
pulling guard. Just over 90 seconds now.
Frank Mir has got to fight with desperation here, Mike. And so far, Cormier has been able to contain him, and every time Frank has been able to get off some damaging shots, Daniel's been able to hold on to him and fight his fight.
Superior wrestler, to say the least.
And we've seen no grappling whatsoever other than clinching.
Yep.
Frank has never had an opportunity to try to submit him.
I'm going to strike you.
Herb Dean says, keep working. And Cormier does just that.
His work.
I
Frank
think
just can't
Herb's going to separate him again.
Oh! Time's running out for Frank Mir.
Stop. Let's go.
It's going to be his last chance here, Joe. 30 seconds. Leave it all inside the cage. Seconds. final seconds of the fight. And they go the distance. Daniel Cormier and Frank Mir fight for 15 minutes. The official decision coming up next on Fox.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. All 3 judges score the contest 30-27, declaring the winner by unanimous decision, Daniel D.C. Cormier.
Unanimous decision. Daniel Cormier.
Here we go, first round, you ready?
Patrick
Cummins. Let's go, come on.
Tonight's clock brought to you by Bud Light. Here we go. Black trunks for Cormier. Blue trunks for Cummins.
Cummins has very good kicks, especially his left switch. Good boxing, excellent conditioning, and good transitions off the clinch.
Chael Sonnen said he is a bad dude. Called him the best unsigned talent in MMA.
I would agree with that. And it's because he hasn't been able to get fights. He hasn't been able to prove himself. And a guy like Chael knows, oh, he's hurt. He got tagged with that uppercut. Cormier tagged him. Nice inside leg kick.
And he said there's a big difference in wanting and needing to win. Cormier, first fight at 205.
There's also a big difference between a guy who's fought Josh Barnett and Bigfoot Silva and a guy who's fought 4 people no one's ever heard of.
Yeah. Cormier
tagged him again. He's hurt.
Cormier again with the uppercut. Looking to finish the fight. He's in trouble.
Cummins is in all sorts of trouble.
It is all over. Daniel Cormier finishes Patrick Cummins just like that. That, my friends, was a big message.
That's called payback.
Yes, it is.
It's the hands and the striking of Daniel Cormier. What we had said, it separates him from a lot of other wrestlers.
It also says what goes on in the wrestling room stays in the wrestling room.
That was Daniel Cormier, I believe, at his finest. That's right up there with the Bigfoot Silva knockout. Just spectacular hand technique by Daniel Cormier. He tagged him early with a right hand, had him hurt, kept the pressure on, didn't lose his composure, didn't get overexcited, but kept the pressure on with beautiful combinations. And let's look at this uppercut that starts it off. Clips him with that uppercut, tagged him. No, I believe this is after he'd already been hurt.
That's a good one right there.
Yeah, this was towards the end. Yeah, this was towards the end. But he attacked him with several punches before that. And just Daniel Cormier in the finest form we've ever seen inside the octagon. And
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Mario Yamasaki has called a stop to this contest at 1 minute, 19 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by TKO, Daniel D.C. Cormier.
That will be my command at all time. If you want to touch that, do it now. Go back to your corner.
Huge respect, mutual. DC, Hendo.
Are you ready, sir? Ready? Fight!
And here we go. White trunks for Hendo, black trunks for DC, Daniel Cormier. That right hand is always in the trigger position.
you could see by the stance of Cormier that he was going to start throwing some kicks. Seemed to have a bit of an upright stance. And that's one of the differences between their styles. Cormier throws a lot of hand techniques, but he'll throw high kicks. You very rarely see that from Henderson, but does have good leg kicks. Ducks under there.
Yeah, he did. Looking for the, oh my! Beautiful, beautiful. Great takedown, right into side control, Joe. Wow. He took Hendo for a ride there.
Cormier, the bigger man, struggles a bit to get down to 205, and as we said, Dan Henderson weighed in quite a bit below the limit at 199.
We've only seen Cormier for 1 minute and 19 seconds at 205 in that fight against Patrick Cummins down the street at the Mandalay Bay.
And Dan has Cormier's right arm tied up with his legs, and he's holding on to his left arm like this. He's got him in a bit of a cradle. Look at that. Cormier tried to slam his way out of it. And Dan hit him with some hard elbows from this position. He's trying to hold that arm in place. Now he's trying to go for an arm bar. He's trying to submit him here, and Cormier pulls his arm out.
Both of these men possess that wrestling strength, Joe.
And Cormier got out of both trouble spots. And now Cormier in full side control here.
Trying to work the body of Henderson. Wants to get out of this position. We always talk about iron sharpens iron. Cain Velasquez, Daniel Cormier. They were made to go to battle as teammates in MMA. They have both learned from each other and pushed each other to unparalleled limits.
That is a tremendous advantage, having someone like Cain Velasquez with just infinite gas tank, who has world-class skills, one of the best heavyweights, if not the best ever, and that's the guy you train with on a day-to-day basis. I mean,
and they're really not cutting weight, Joe, but when they're in there working, they're really close in weight.
Yeah.
Similar build, everything's perfect.
Yeah, and they go at it. I've watched some of those training camps. I've watched some of those videos of sparring sessions, and it's amazing. I mean, these guys push each other to the brink, and that's what makes great fighters. Having that kind of an environment, having great training partners that are elite world-class fighters that, you know, are better than almost anybody you're ever going to face inside the cage.
Cormier trying to get the mount.
Moving into mount as Dan holds onto his neck. And Dan's in a bit of a pickle here. He's not taking too much damage, but he's stuck underneath the bigger man, and Cormier not scoring any points, and he can't win from here.
And again, half guard is a position that wrestlers don't mind from the top. And now he's trying once again to get to the full mount.
Yeah,
almost there.
He's hitting him with some hard body shots too, and that allowed him to fully escape into mount. And Dan is trying to hip escape and get back to half guard.
He does.
Wrap the leg up, but purely defensive at this point.
No question. But as you said, not taking a ton of damage.
Not taking a ton of damage, but getting exhausted, having the bigger man on top of him. And for DC, not much work. Making Henderson carry his weight is huge. Big punches to the body. Good up kick by Dan.
Henderson's last 7 bouts have come against former champions in one organization or another, and Cormier thinks he's a future champion.
This is crazy watching Cormier ragdoll Dan on the ground like this. The way he took him down, and now the way he's handling him on the ground. These are big shots.
Just over a minute on the clock here in the first.
Completely controlling the ground.
Yeah. And this is Olympian versus Olympian. Both
looking
men
for
representing
Kimura
the U.S.
North-south position.
A lot of top position here in round 1 for DC.
Dan looking for, trying to get a leg lock there and allowed him to stand back up. He's on that leg lock attempt to get back to his feet.
Watch for the H-bomb.
When you see Daniel Cormier, I should say, stand up tall, well, there's a big right hand over the top. Look for those kicks to start coming. There it is. Yeah.
And with Henderson, look for the low inside kick from the left with the right hand follow. That's his trademark move.
Look at it. Henderson trying to take Cormier down.
And Cormier able to stuff it. 10 seconds on the clock. Big round 1 for Cormier.
Yeah, huge. Huge with that big takedown, and huge with his dominance on the ground, his ability to control. Just like Shogun dominated the first round in the last fight that Dan Henderson had, Dan can still shut the lights out with one shot at any time.
Shogun really put a lot of hurting on Henderson in that rematch for the first 2 rounds. Had Dan in trouble.
Well, that's one of the things about Dan is his durability. He's got a shocking chin.
And here he takes a big swing. And remember, Cormier made his light heavyweight debut against Patrick Cummins. Fight only lasted a little over a minute, so keep an eye on the cardio of Daniel Cormier.
He's in great shape. I don't think you have to worry about that. But the Patrick Cummins fight was a quick victory. But in Cummins, defense. He took that fight on literally a week's notice.
Yeah.
Crowd's booing.
And of course, cardio stays with you when you're on top, and that's what DC's doing again.
Yeah, I mean, he's not having to work nearly as hard as Henderson does, carrying all that weight and also trying to push that weight off you to get back up to your feet. Oh, big elbow by Cormier.
Of course, we had the Ronda Rousey-Sarah McMahon Olympic matchup.
This shows you what kind of respect Daniel Cormier has for the punching power of Dan Henderson when you consider the guys that Cormier has stood up with, guys like Bigfoot Silva, guys like Josh Barnett, has been in there with, you know.
Guy's about 50 pounds heavier than
big
Dan
shots,
Henderson.
big shots by Cormier.
Henderson trying to get up.
I mean, in the Josh Barnett fight, we really got to see what kind of wrestling Cormier possesses. To watch him ragdoll that big former heavyweight champion like that. And that was a big test for him as well, that Strikeforce Heavyweight Grand Prix. We also got to see in the Bigfoot Silva fight his combinations of his punches, which are outstanding.
Ground strikes, all Cormier.
Yeah, Cormier looks like he's trying to set up a submission, Mike. He's riding on top.
Shot to the body.
Big shot to the body. Big punches by DC, big left hands.
Henderson is just in defense mode again.
Yeah, he's completely stuck.
Midway point of the fight.
Oh,
another big shot.
Hard shots. And again, DC just moving all over him, controlling him. Full mount now for DC.
And that is one thing Cormier said, Joe, is that he felt he could out-wrestle Dan Henderson.
Well, he's certainly been correct.
No doubt about it. Trying to advance to that full mount again.
He had it briefly, but Dan did a good job of hip escaping, getting back to half guard. A bit better defensively, but Cormier still just roughing him up. Elbows, punches to the body.
Officially, Cormier has 2 takedowns, but man, is he taking advantage of those.
He's trying to get him in a mounted crucifix here. His ability to control Dan Henderson is actually pretty shocking. I mean, when was the last time we ever saw anybody do this on the ground with Dan?
Maybe never, right?
I don't think so. I can't think of a time where you see Dan for 2 rounds solid on his back, squirming around. You know, that leg lock attempt was the only thing to get him back up to his feet. And Dan's trying to tie up that leg again. He's going to have to go under that left leg of Cormier, though, to try to get back up to his feet. And Cormier's not having any of it.
No, and he knows how to stay heavy.
And he's beating Dan up in the process. Making Dan carry his weight. Dan tried to roll, but look, Cormier followed him perfectly. Right back into side control, sticks to him like glue. Heavy hips.
Good ground and pound by Daniel Cormier here in round 2.
Yeah, Dan is getting beat up. I mean, Dan's trying desperation moves like knees to the body from the bottom. He is getting pounded on.
Yeah. Yves Levine right there takes a look at the clock, takes a look at the action. He knows how durable Henderson is, though.
Well, that's one of the things about being a legend. Everybody gets to know how you fight, right? You know, there's no surprises in the chin of Dan Henderson.
North-south again.
This is crazy. Look at this top position. 7 minutes and 28 seconds in 2 rounds.
So basically about 8 out of 10 minutes of the fight.
These are big shots from Cormier. Just slowly but surely beating Dan up, making Dan carry his weight for 2 rounds, and then hanging on here in the 3rd, though, doing nothing, waiting for the clock to run out.
He did it with 2 takedowns.
In the 2nd.
One in the 1st, one in the 2nd.
Total domination on the ground, and one of the rare times you've ever seen Dan Henderson cut.
Yep.
Hey, I know it sucks, but you have to fight this guy now. I know you're tired. Sit down, Dan. Sit down. Sit down, Dan. Sit down.
Hendo knows exactly what he needs to do.
I know you're tired.
You want the bad.
You have to go fight him now. You have to go fight him. Yeah? I know. I know. No, no. You have to go now. Okay? Let's go.
Stay low there.
I can't hear what Dan is saying.
There's blood in his eye, blood in his eye. Let's go.
Hendo has fought all of the greats in the history of mixed martial arts. And tonight he faces a rising star in Daniel Cormier in a showcase of U.S. Olympic wrestlers. DC unbeaten as a professional mixed martial artist. And he wants to continue to make a statement here in Las Vegas against Hendo. Third and final round.
And again, a tall Daniel Cormier standing up high, not worried about the takedowns of Dan Henderson. Look for that left kick.
And standing up is what Henderson needs to do in this round. He's got to keep this on the feet, give himself a chance to win. That's his move, that low kick and the punch, but it's usually at a little quicker speed. Hendo's gas from carrying Cormier for so long.
Goodness.
My goodness, indeed. Wow. Look at that.
Just complete ragdoll.
You're absolutely right, Joe. It's a first for Dan Henderson.
Yeah, this is, I mean, total domination by Cormier. And in the grappling, you know, in Dan Henderson's world.
Yeah. The athleticism of Cormier.
The technique, the athleticism, the conditioning, the power, everything. He's a beast.
Yep, top of the food chain.
I mean, there's a reason why everybody's so high on this man, and it's not just because of the fact that he's had so much success. It's what everybody has said about him in the training room. It's what everybody knows about him based on his wrestling credentials. He's something special.
Yeah, and when you talk about a guy's heroes, Cormier talks about John Smith and Kevin Jackson, Dan Gable, Kenny Monday, some of the greatest wrestlers of all time. And you've always said, Joe, the greatest base in MMA is wrestling. They both have it. Right now, Daniel's
no
is
question.
better.
Well, look at, you know, you're talking about a guy who's 35 years old, started training at MMA at 30.
Yeah.
He's one of the elite of the elite. And he's dominating one of the greatest of all time right now.
And he's got full mount.
Same thing with John Jones. Look at John Jones. I mean, the guy trains for 4 years, dominates the light heavyweight division, and wins the title, the youngest guy ever, wrestling. It all starts out in wrestling. It's because the mind is the most important part of the big picture. And no one has a stronger mindset than amateur wrestlers. No one. They endure so much, and they're so mentally tough. And I think that when you get as good as a guy like Daniel Cormier gets at wrestling, you can get good at anything. It's just, they're willing to work harder, they're smarter, they're more focused. There's just something about the elite of the elite in any given sport.
They embrace the grind. And really, Joe, what you just said about Daniel Cormier, we were saying about Cain Velasquez 5 years ago.
Absolutely.
Same base, and look where he is now.
And this is one of the reasons why Cain is so good. And this is one of the reasons also why Daniel's so good. Because Daniel Cormier goes through this with Cain, you know, on a daily basis, all year round. This is bad. I mean, Dan Henderson has nothing left in the tank. And if Daniel Cormier unloads, he could easily get this fight stopped.
This is perhaps as one-sided as we've seen Dan Henderson be dominated in the UFC.
Well, certainly for 3 rounds.
In the UFC.
Certainly for 3 rounds. You know, I mean, we've seen him lose quickly, like the Vitor Belfort fight, and we've seen him, you know, lose in the 2nd round of the Anderson Silva fight.
But a good first round, either.
Yeah, a good first round where he controlled Anderson on the ground. But we've never seen this. I mean, this is Daniel Cormier proving to the world that he's one of the best in the division. At 205 pounds, one of the scariest of the contenders.
Bigger, younger, faster.
Just awesome, you know? And now Daniel Cormier has got the back of Dan Henderson with the arm underneath the neck.
Yeah, he wants to finish this fight. Trying to tap him out.
He might have it here.
DC looking for the submission.
His own glove for the finish.
Man, how tough is that?
That's it.
It is all over. Daniel Cormier, winner by submission. He defeats Dan Henderson.
He went out.
Total domination.
He choked Dan out right in front of us.
Hendo wouldn't tap.
Henderson is waking up right now, realizing what happened. I don't know if Hendo tapped or if he went out after he tapped. It's hard to tell. We couldn't see. We'll see it in the replay, but what a performance by Daniel Cormier. Look at this. I mean, he did that to Josh Barnett, so I don't know why we're surprised that he did it to Dan Henderson. But look at this. He gets him back up, and look at this trip. Watch this. Gets him up. Watch his left leg. Whoop. Boom. I mean, it's like, all due respect, it's like a man and a boy. Now here, he sunk it in. He got his back, and he never tapped. Yves Lavigne recognized that Dan was out. Dan never tapped.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Yves Lavigne has called a stop to this contest at 3 minutes, 53 seconds of the third round, declaring the winner by submission due to a rear naked choke, Daniel D.C. Cormier.
Will it be Cormier or will it be Johnson?
All right, here we go. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's get it on.
Here we go! Red trunks for Rumble, black trunks for DC. First title shot ever for Anthony Rumble Johnson. He got poked.
He got poked right away. He said he's okay.
Yeah, and he has had trouble. We hope it doesn't go any further than that, Joe, with eye pokes in the past. But back to business right here. Third 5-round fight for Cormier. Oh! Rocked. Rumble with big power early. Looking to finish him right here, right now.
And this is what we had talked about with, look at this though.
Big swing and a miss, got himself off balance.
Got way tangled up.
Look how strong Rumble is though.
Daniel's trying to drag him to the ground here. Rumble trying to separate the hands and break free. But Daniel's on him. Cinched around the waist.
Go grab the fence.
Slam.
Yep, quickly though.
But barely to the ground.
Yeah.
Right back up.
Well, Johnson, very good takedown defense.
And he got a little wild there. And if he does get out of this position, he's gonna know you can't get wild with Daniel Cormier, or this can happen.
He rocked him with the right. Now he wants to get back free and stand and trade. DC all over him like I talked about earlier, Joe. Constant pressure, embrace the grind. The moniker of all wrestlers.
Although Daniel didn't want it to happen the way it did, where he got tagged first, this is his type of fight. This is gonna help Daniel here.
Wow, still looking for the takedown and spinning is Rumble Johnson 2 minutes in. Don't forget, UFC 187 post-fight show live on Fox Sports 1 at the conclusion of our pay-per-view. Jay Glazer, Michael Bisping, Dominic Cruz, Rashad Evans, Ariel Helwani, and what a night we have had.
Daniel holding on to him, keeping the pressure on him, making him carry his weight, and Rumble got to get out of this position.
Gotta work.
Rumble got that arm free, but now Daniel drops down to the leg, lifted that leg off the ground. Hanging on the head again.
Cormier working really hard to try to take Rumble down.
Rumble's
still
back
can't.
up. Rumble's back up, but his head's still trapped.
Everybody talks about the incredible strength of Anthony Johnson. Trying to power out here.
He's free.
Head fighting. Cormier trying to get his opponent off balance.
He's free, but he's still tied up. Oh, head kick.
From really close.
Wow.
I mean, they weren't separated by much at all.
And
big swing by Cormier with the overhand right. Rumble again looking forward. And again
Rumble
fights off
free.
the takedown. Switches to southpaw. Watch for the left kick. Under 90 left in the first of a potential 5-minute rounds. Rumble in the southpaw stance.
Yeah, I wonder why he switched up like that.
For that right there, that kick.
It could be.
Now he switches back.
And Daniel switched for a moment as well. Back to it again, back to southpaw.
Rumble tried to counter. DC ducked underneath, they clinch.
The more DC can turn it into this type of fight, the better.
Two-time Olympian with a little bit of dirty boxing right here, Joe, in the last minute of round one.
Well, Anthony's got to be aware also that this is a wearing, grinding type of fight, and if it goes 5 rounds, this is something he hasn't done before, and he certainly hasn't done it before with a guy like Daniel Cormier. Now, every time when they break free and he's unloading all of his power, he's sprinting. I mean, it's not technical exchanges that he's having. He's trying to kill Daniel Cormier with every shot that he throws. That takes a lot of energy. And the question remains whether or not he can do that.
DC connected on the exit. Round one in the books. 2 minutes and 15 seconds. This his second career 5-rounder.
Let's see if he's more conservative coming into this second round, understanding how much energy he utilized.
Heavy kick,
big right hand. Big right hand by Johnson.
Blocked.
Big kick
and
by
return.
DC. Oh, wow.
And again, Rumble teeing off with that kick. Overhand right again.
And another hard shot to the body, but DC gets the clinch.
Trying to catch him and put him on his back.
Good takedown defense so far by Rumble.
Good.
Cormier picks him up. Puts him down. Half guard.
Daniel on top. One of the keys to the fight that we talked about early has clearly happened for Daniel. He's got Rumble down, and he's on top of him. And this is not where Rumble wants to be. So every minute you see Rumble on his back like this is absolutely not according to the plan.
Joe, in his first 14 UFC fights, he'd only been taken down in 2 of those fights. This would be 3 in 15. And definitive control from top position for Cormier here. Credited thus far with 2 takedowns.
Hard elbow.
Cardio Kane, as they call him, pushes Daniel Cormier's cardio.
I don't like what I'm seeing from Rumble. I don't like that I'm seeing big, deep breaths with an open mouth. I don't like to see that loose guard. And look at this. Daniel locking up at Kimura. This could be it.
Trying to finish it right here, right now.
This easily could be it. If Rumble can't get his arm free, Daniel gave up on it. He's hitting him with some big shots. And instead of using good jiu-jitsu and trying to get back up to his feet or defending himself, Rumble tried to punch from the bottom. Daniel going for it again.
Cormier received his brown belt in jiu-jitsu the same time as Velasquez received his black belt. Cormier's 2 submission wins, Joe, have been rear naked chokes.
Every time he defends against this, it wears him out. Daniel's making him defend, and he sets it up again.
The pressure.
And then he hits him with more elbows, and you're seeing big, huge, deep breaths by Rumble. And this is the first time as a light heavyweight we've seen Rumble encounter adversity inside the octagon.
Mentioned tonight, the third 5-round fight for Cormier. He's gone the distance twice. We know he can fight for 25 minutes. We've seen it.
And we're seeing an exhausted Rumble Johnson that isn't utilizing good technique to try to get to his feet.
Cormier working the Turk here. Seems to be comfortable with ground and pound from the half guard.
Covering the mouth of Anthony Rumble Johnson. He knows he's tired. There you go, Rumble. That's a good hip escape there, getting the knee in between them, but he needs a lot more than that. He needs to continue scrambling. Not just one initial movement, but many. It's going to take many movements to get back up to his feet. Daniel's going to beat on him for the next minute and 14 seconds unless he does something dramatic.
Shots from the bottom by Rumble.
That's not good enough. He's got to do something to get back up to his feet. Stay defensive from the bottom and then get back up to his feet. But I think he doesn't have the energy to push Daniel off him, which does not bode well considering he's got 3 more rounds to fight after this.
Trying to advance.
It remains to be seen if he gets through this round, how much he can recover in the 1-minute break in between rounds.
45 seconds.
Hip escape there.
Having him stay busy. DC doing a good job of it, trying to posture up a little.
But again, you see the hip escape from Rumble, a small movement, a hip escape, and then a rest.
Big shot.
You can't do that. He's never going to get up from Daniel Cormier if he does that.
Heavy elbows by Cormier.
Those are slicing elbows. Those are the kind of elbows that can cut you. And
20
look at this.
seconds.
Rumble's
in big trouble.
To Big John McCarthy.
He's bleeding. He cut him open with those elbows.
Yes, he did.
10 seconds in round 2. Rumble trying to survive. Big round for Cormier.
Huge round for Cormier.
He is using to put him on his back.
And Daniel Cormier very excited. He smells the title.
He should be cautious here of a big shot from Rumble. Try to put him on his back again. Kick by Rumble connects. And now he slides down and DC's gonna take advantage.
Unless Rumble can take DC down, which he's trying to do, they might be the only way he can get back up to his feet, is to threaten with a takedown himself and then disengage.
And he gets
Rumble
the takedown.
takes DC down.
DC trying to pop right back up, and he does. Cormier had not been taken down prior to the Jones fight.
But he's breathing very heavy. Rumble has an agonized look on his face, and he's breathing very heavy.
Second shot at UFC gold for Cormier.
And Rumble's got to try to disengage here, Mike, if he wants to win this fight.
Right hand, and again.
Wow. Those are hard shots.
Yeah, they are.
Considering his leg is over his head.
Once again, the pressure. The key component to the attack of
Henry
Cormier.
Hooft just yelled at him to man up. Oh, no.
He's in big trouble.
Big moment for Daniel Cormier.
Rumble running out of gas big time.
He's fading hardcore. One thing that may help him is that he's in his corner. He's receiving instructions and encouragement from his corner. He just let Daniel spin around behind him and didn't defend.
And now punches.
Oh, that's it.
Up the middle.
Daniel's beating him up.
Cormier looking to become the new champion.
He has been carrying Daniel's weight like this, and this is absolutely exhausting to a guy who's already tired. Don't give up.
Yeah, this fight has gone according to plan for Cormier.
That's the last thing you want to have to tell your fighter. Don't give up. Daniel's got it under the neck.
Trying to lock it up and become the champion.
He's going to tap.
It is all over. Daniel Cormier is the new UFC light heavyweight champion.
An excellent performance by Daniel Cormier, and not one where he wasn't tested. That was a fight where he was absolutely tested. He got hit with some big shots, but did what he had to do, imposed his will on Rumble Johnson and his wrestling skills, and he is the new UFC light heavyweight champion of the world.
The 12th light heavyweight champion in UFC history. Fight replay brought to you by Bud Light, the perfect beer for whatever happens.
Here's a high kick by Rumble early, tagged DC, and here's a big takedown by Daniel. And there's a nasty elbow and big shots from the top by Cormier. And this is the end of the fight. He gets the back of Rumble, gets on top of him, beats him down, makes him carry his weight, and eventually slid that forearm under the neck. And
ladies and gentlemen, referee John McCarthy's called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes, 39 seconds of round number 3, declaring the winner by tap out due to a rear naked choke, and the new undisputed UFC light heavyweight champion of the world, Daniel D.C.
Silva. Here we go. Tonight's fight clock brought to you by Bud Light. Raise one. To right now, the southpaw out of Curitiba, Brazil, the Spider. He's in the yellow trunks, the Brazilian colors, DC in the dark trunks.
Now, conventional wisdom would say that a guy like Anderson taking a fight like this on 2 days' notice is not in the kind of shape he's going to need to be to grind it out with Daniel Cormier for 5 rounds. If that is the case, he may look to try to close the show early.
Absolutely. And DC, Joe, knows that. He's going to try to get inside on Anderson early and embrace the grind. There it is. And he's got it. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt Anderson Silva does not want to carry Daniel Cormier's weight.
He definitely does not. Daniel is thick and powerful and has tremendous posture, and it's incredibly difficult to control him on the ground, especially when he's on top of you and fresh like this. Anderson trying to set up the right arm bar, throwing those legs up, eating some punches here on the ground with DC.
Anderson 3-0 at 205.
I should correct myself. This is a 3-round fight, not a 5-round fight. Even so, 2 days notice,
this, yeah.
3 rounds, incredibly difficult for Anderson.
Of course, Anderson was supposed to fight in his hometown of Curitiba, Brazil, back in May. Right before he was going to get on a plane, ended up having his gallbladder removed.
He's getting stacked here by Daniel, and big punches are going to come if Daniel can control his position here and get that right arm free. Anderson holding on to that right arm.
Silva's got a great ground game. He's got an excellent guard. It's going to be tested right here again.
He's utilizing it very well defensively here, but now DC has moved to half guard. He's getting some good, solid ground and pound off here.
Getting those elbows to land. And again, midway point of round number 1. DC on top, half guard. DC wants to stay busy here. He would rather not get stood up.
Well, Anderson's doing a good job of utilizing the lockdown on the right leg. See how he's elevating Daniel? It keeps Daniel from being able to put any real power into those shots. He's taking that leg out of play and taking that side.
Anderson won the belt in his second UFC fight. His reign as champion was nearly 7 years long.
Good ground and pound here by DC.
Anderson trying to avoid too much damage here early. All DC so far. Cormier's first 13 fights were at heavyweight. His record was 13-0 in those fights. John McCarthy telling Cormier, keep it going, move, keep the action going. Don't forget, following our pay-per-view, flip over to FS1 for the UFC 200 post-fight show. For our fans in Canada, flip over to TSN.
Henderson has done a pretty good job defensively up to this point. And Daniel has gotten some shots in, but a lot of them have been partially blocked. And Henderson has done a good job of controlling his posture.
Cormier's got his hand over his mouth now, control the breathing.
Yes, and the big key to this position is really his utilization of the lockdown. But Daniel's gotten some posture here. He's up, he's gotten some space.
We've seen so many magnificent striking displays from these great Brazilians, but every single one of them, Joe, can fight on the ground. They all bring to the octagon that black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Daniel's crushing him here, just sort of pressuring him, making him carry his weight, but nothing particularly damaging so far in this first round.
Except perhaps the cardio of Anderson Silva. Corner Cam brought to you by Hudson Shipping. Round 2. Oh my.
Goes high with the head kick. Oh, good right hand by DC.
Expect to see Anderson try to put on a show here, but not a show to be showy, but a show to finish the fight.
DC smiling at him here.
Anderson can come from anywhere. DC throws him down to the canvas and takes side control.
Beautiful grappling by DC. He's gonna trap him here. He's looking to step over, but he got caught in half guard on the way.
Cormier has owned this fight, all about top position. Joe, like you pointed out, Anderson not taking a ton of damage, but he's unable to do anything offensively.
And he's carrying Daniel's weight. It's exhausting. And DC's looking to try to pass. Anderson's just holding on to him here. DC's got to get that right leg free. Every time Anderson elevates that leg, they throw DC's balance off, but Daniel's done a great job of maintaining top position. But Anderson, you know what, every time he does that, you see that lockdown has been very effective here. And even though DC's still kind of beating him up, there's nothing particularly devastating going on.
Styles make fights, and this style that Daniel Cormier utilizes.
Anderson, if he keeps going along that way, and that's why Daniel just dropped those hammer fists on him, he has that underhook on that right side, and he was trying to keep sneaking around the side, and then Daniel became much more active when he realized he was in a bad position. Here it is again. If he can get that right leg free, it's a good position, but if he can't get that leg free, Anderson can keep sneaking around towards his left side. Now Daniel's concentrating on the Kimura.
The style that Cormier utilizes is bad for Anderson Silva, especially on short notice.
Yeah, and with Anderson getting this lockdown, there's two options. He can try to sneak around towards the left and sneak around towards the right. But the problem is Daniel's just a bigger, stronger, better grappler. And every time he goes to make a move, Daniel corrects and winds up on top. I mean, he's a mountain on you. You just can't shake him. And these are some hard, short elbows. And Anderson's trying to move, trying to go to the deep half, trying to sweep here.
This is a guy who, you know, a little over 2 days ago thought he was going to just be a fan of this monumental event. He's trying to hang in for the fans, for his country. And John McCarthy stands him up. Anderson is exhausted. It took him a while to stand up at the end of round 1. Checked. Anderson cannot let himself be taken down again. And don't forget, Daniel Cormier's striking has improved exponentially over the years.
Good knee by Anderson.
Cormier ducks out of danger. Anderson with the left. Cormier misses. Here we go.
Good kick to the body by Anderson.
Careful what game you play with the Spider. Knowing Daniel Cormier as we do, Joe, I think there's a part of him that wants to show the world, I'll strike with Anderson Silva for a little while here.
Well, I could certainly see him wanting to test his skills, but that is the most dangerous
Exactly. Playing with fire for sure. For Anderson Silva, it's time.
Beautiful technique by Anderson. He's gone to that a few times. The kick with the right, and then leaping in the air and kicking with the left. Again, this is a dangerous game for Daniel Cormier. Oh, good right hand by Cormier. Anderson looking for that elbow.
Knee. DC again takes him down. Not only did Anderson take this fight on 48 hours notice, Cormier was training for a 5-round fight. And he's had top position. And really no back and forth clinch game to try to exhaust his gas tank.
Anderson keeps going to that lockdown on the right leg of Daniel Cormier, and it's made ground and pound much more difficult for Cormier. It's been good for him defensively, but not offensively. And Daniel's just kind of squashing his head here, keeping the weight on him, cutting off his breathing. But if the crowd keeps booing, Big John might stand him up.
And wrestlers know how to make heavy even heavier. And Daniel Cormier is great at smothering his opponents.
Yeah, his top game is excellent.
They keep adding up for Daniel Cormier, nearly 130 total strikes to the body. DC trying to stay busy.
Well, if Anderson could just control his posture and grab a hold of him like right there, it's very possible that Big John would stand him up. He keeps saying, let's go, move it. I mean, all Anderson has to do is hang on here.
Big John's right there watching closely.
The audience is chanting, stand up.
Cormier throwing down consistent strikes now. All right, 2 minutes on the clock. 2 minutes, now less than 2, remain in this fight. Does the Spider have some magic left? Is there a kick up the middle coming, like against Vitor Belfort? Or a knee? Under 90 seconds now. Henderson is looking for that one opening.
1 minute remains.
Henderson's looking for that opening, but he's got to take some chances. I mean, he is clearly looking for one big shot here.
It might be the kick up the middle. We've seen it before. Chasing down Cormier. Swing and a miss by DC.
Good kick to the body. He hurt him
30
with that.
seconds.
Daniel's hurt.
Swarming him. Knee by Silva. 20 seconds. They go the distance.
Great job.
2 days notice for the greatest of all time. And that man is a real fighter. Both men should be applauded. Daniel Cormier says, I'll fight anybody, even though I was supposed to be the main event. Fight replay brought to you by Bud Light. Raise one to right now.
There we see a takedown attempt completed by Daniel Cormier. There's some ground and pound by Cormier. Pretty good job defensively by Henderson of avoiding really big shots. There's Silva trying to open up with some shots, but he gets taken down again. Really, his best success was in the third. That front kick to the body. See it
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. All 3 judges score this contest 30-26 for the winner by unanimous decision, Daniel D.C. Cormier.
Guys, this is 5 rounds for the light heavyweight championship. We went over the rules in the back. I want a good, clean fight. Any questions? Any questions? If you want touch gloves now, come out swinging.
Probably not the time for questions. We want answers. We will get them here shortly. Volkan Oezdemir with his first UFC title shot tonight. He is the plus 260 underdog against that man, the minus 340 favorite, the defending champion, Daniel Cormier. Tonight's fight clock is brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925. Oezdemir in white, Cormier in the black with gold trim.
Oezdemir's throwing haymakers right away. Oh, he caught him with a left. Stiff jab by Oezdemir.
He's so long, it's really a problem right now. And he's ducking to his right, so he needs to watch the right high kick, excuse me. Left high kick.
Tagged him again with the left.
Henry Hooft and Greg Jones have tried twice to beat Daniel Cormier with Anthony Rumble Johnson. Perhaps they can get it done with Oezdemir tonight.
Watch the left hook. DC's leaning to the right real hard. So the right high kick and the left hook will be there. Oezdemir's making reads right now, coming hard. He always comes very hard early.
And that's the same habit that led him into that John Jones left high kick in his last fight.
Exactly. That one.
Oezdemir is very strong.
Exactly.
Very strong in the clinch.
And I think that's what we see here in this matchup right off the bat. He always comes very, very hard early. DC will do good to go to a single leg soon. Get that high crotch, move it, use that to get behind him.
Well, Cormier's striking's always been underrated because of his wrestling acumen. But no secret to what he was going to try to do here tonight, at least we thought coming in.
The pummeling is going to be the big difference if DC can get inside. He's going to force Oezdemir to pummel with him, but Oezdemir's doing a good job just hitting him, so he can't get a hold of him. There you go, and now he fakes the shot, tries to duck under on the left side, doesn't quite get it, going to the clinch, forcing the clinch here.
Right hand over the top by Oezdemir. DC constantly putting the pressure on him.
He's creating dirty boxing situations so Oezdemir can't be slick and use his technique from the outside.
Oh, clipped him with the right hand there. Good right to the body. So far, DC's absorbed all the big shots.
He does a good job staying out of the real harsh power of it. He stays right at the end to where he's crowding the punches by pummeling. So it makes it a little less power for him from Oezdemir. I like that DC keeps tying him up, though. You got to do that to keep Oezdemir guessing. Even if you don't get the takedown, he just needs to threaten it. Don't like the reaching of DC, though. He keeps reaching for the punches of Oezdemir, and that allows Oezdemir to follow with a kick if he wants. See how he's reaching for the hands? That's a problem if Oezdemir can make reads.
2 minutes to go here in round 1 of a possible 5.
The real question is going to be, what does Oezdemir look like in the 3rd round, in the 4th round, and in the 5th, if he can get there? He seems to have slowed himself down, realizing he's not going to get DC out of there real quick.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But what kind of a pace have they trained for?
Loaded up on that left hand, DC able to avoid it.
It's a very high pace Oezdemir's keeping right now, though, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And then DC's pressuring, so he's keeping him on the heel. That goes back to the running backwards thing we were talking about earlier, Joe. How long can he keep that running backwards?
Oh, DC just stung him with that right hand.
Got him.
And again, and a jab.
Oh! He hurt him with that hook. He's hurt.
DC's moving in, big right hand.
DC gotta watch out. This is where Oezdemir's dangerous.
Oh!
Be careful, take your time if you're DC here. Go to the body, set up the big shots. Oezdemir's got his back against the wall.
And that right eye, problematic for Volkan Oezdemir. You see him trying to blink it out.
And now the pummel. This is where DC can wear down Oezdemir in that pummel.
Yeah, Oezdemir already checking his right eye.
DC's pressure's heavy right now, and that's exhausting.
Oh, big right hand by DC.
Got it. There's that single leg. He's gonna dump and go to a lift here. He's gonna go to the dump and then the lift. Dump and then the lift. Back and forth. Good defense so far, pushing the head down by Oezdemir. That's what you gotta do. Keep the head pushed down, and he gets it. Forcing big guys to balance is the worst thing you could do.
Cormier pounding on Oezdemir here late in the 1st round.
He's got the neck. He's got his neck.
Got it. It's in. That's it.
There's the one.
Oh, saved by the buzzer.
And now we get another rounder.
So it is bite down on the mouthpiece time for Volkan Oezdemir. We'll see if he can get off to a good start here in round 2, but you got to think the champion is confident on the strength of what happened at the end of round 1.
Still got to be patient here. Right now at the beginning of the round is when Oezdemir is the most dangerous. Back to the single leg, and they'll make Oezdemir balance.
Beautiful trip. DC's all
Straight
over
to
him.
mount.
Full mount.
And he knows he can out-grapple him now after feeling that choke, so you're going to see DC just stay on the grappling and just look to grind him out from the top position here with ground and pound. He's not going to let Oezdemir back up if he can help it.
Not much resistance from Oezdemir. It's a case of pick your poison. You want to get grounded and pounded or give up your back.
It's crazy that we're saying this just into the 2nd round, but the overwhelming domination on the ground by DC. I mean, you can just see how strong he is. People don't realize how good a wrestler he is, and sometimes they underestimate him until they're in there with him.
Well, not just that, but he's using specific techniques with his wrestling. He's not shooting double legs, he's shooting single legs on a guy, on a big, large man, making him balance. Gets to the mount, goes to the crucifix. He's got the arm. He's trapping the back arm with his legs, and now Oezdemir is just getting softly beaten. And all this does is set up the inevitable, which is the finish that DC wants. But he's taking his time. There's no rush here. He's in a dominant position, and this hurts for Oezdemir.
Yeah, Oezdemir is getting his energy sapped out. He's getting beaten up. the fight's dangerously close to being stopped just like this.
It's pretty much there.
Warning from the referee, Kevin McDonald, for Oezdemir to get out of there.
But he can't. I mean, he's really helpless.
And that is it. Daniel Cormier defends in style tonight.
Overwhelming, dominant performance by Daniel Cormier. And he proved exactly what he said leading into this fight. There are levels to this thing, and Volkan Oezdemir is not on my level. He was right.
And that just shows where the 205 division is. It's DC's. There's not a lot of people. I mean, this was the top man in the division right now to face DC.
Well, I think right now the top contender is Alexander Gustafsson.
Yes.
Alexander Gustafsson's spectacular performance against Glover Teixeira, in my mind, set him up. But he went under surgery, so he's recovering from that. But in my mind, he was the more skillful, more well-rounded, and more experienced guy. And barring whatever happens with John Jones, I believe he'll probably be next.
Alexander Gustafsson's one of my favorites to watch and a teammate, so trust me, I'm not going to be sad about that if it happens.
Phenomenal fighter.
Let's take a look back at what Daniel Cormier was able to accomplish here tonight. This fight replay is brought to you by Wish, the secret to affordable shopping.
And what we see here is DC drags him in, shoots a double, transitions to a duck under, and then transitions to a high crotch with his head on the outside, which forces Oezdemir to balance, which is not fun for a big, tall guy. Then he goes straight to mount, to the crucifix position, and pounds him out. Beautiful finish by DC, showing the champion that he is, showing how high level and skilled he is at 205 pounds.
And everything DC said leading up to this fight was, I am just gonna smash this guy. And that is exactly what he did here tonight. The UFC light heavyweight champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Kevin McDonald has called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes of round number 2. Declaring the winner by TKO and still the undisputed UFC light heavyweight champion of the world, Daniel DC
Okay, gentlemen, you understand the rules you're fighting under? I want you to listen to me at all times. Keep yourself protected. When I say stop, you stop. Touch gloves. Let's do this.
Never before has a UFC light heavyweight champion moved up to challenge the active heavyweight champion. That is our reality here and now in Las Vegas tonight. Daniel Cormier trying to leave here with a piece of unprecedented UFC history in this modern era. Stipe Miocic trying to successfully defend this belt for a 4th time. And at long last, the action begins right now. Tonight's fight clock brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925. Cormier in the white, Stipe in the black and gold, befitting a champion. Appears to be a pro-Stipe crowd here tonight. Miocic trying to close the distance here early.
And there's the clinch DC's gonna look for. There's the clinch. He wants the clinch right when you see Stipe start throwing combos. Watch DC look for underhooks and to break the posture of Stipe.
Nice low kick by Daniel. Stipe has been landing a couple of hard chops. Ooh, big right hand by Daniel.
First clinch situation here, Dom.
Yeah, and it's because DC, notice how DC gives the underhook because he wants Stipe to grab him. He'd rather get in these types of scenarios early than be punching back and forth with Stipe. Create a wrestling match. That's where DC's comfortable. And Stipe looks very strong. Just looks much stronger right here.
He's landing some big punches too.
The height is a real problem when you're giving up underhooks. So you see how DC has the overhook here. He's lifting, Stipe can lift DC right off the mat because of the height difference. So DC's the one who needs the underhooks. He's gonna win in these scenarios here.
Cormier had some issues early on in training camp with the extra weight, but felt as good as he's ever felt towards the end of camp in terms of his sparring. Some rabbit punches here from Cormier. Miocic controlling his right wrist here. 2 minutes gone by, round one of a possible 5.
That's some tremendous strength to be able to hold on to DC's hand like that. And that might be shocking for DC. This is a real heavyweight.
Looked like DC landed a right hand on that ear. Stiff jab is there for Cormier.
You immediately could tell the size difference.
Watch those hands, guys. Keep the fingers
When they
in.
grab each other. That's where you could tell the most. And that's what I was saying. When you're grappling, this weight difference is huge.
Oh, nice knee from Stipe.
Stipe's hitting him with some really good shots. And these are probably some punches, other than Rumble Johnson, probably some of the hardest shots he's ever felt. Nice knee to the body there.
Looks like some swelling under the right eye of Stipe.
Watch the fingers, Daniel. Keep your hands
And something that DC's coaches were all saying is he's hitting harder. The weight is making him knock people out more. We don't want to talk about it, but he really is knocking everybody out. So let's see, I mean, if the power really translates for him. It looks like it is. He's already got Stipe a little bit cut in that eye from the jab and the uppercuts that he's throwing once he breaks the posture of Stipe in that clinch. Ooh, nice hook by Stipe.
Looked like maybe an elbow from Miocic. Nice combination from the champ.
And that's what I'm talking about. Stipe throws combinations. There's not a lot of heavyweights that throw combos like that.
Oh, he stunned him with that jab. And DC pops him a couple of times.
Already been more punches thrown.
Big 1-2 from Cormier.
See, he's still doing that lean, Cormier, but he doesn't got to worry about a southpaw left high kick coming up to his face, so it's not even a threat.
Oh, looked like something caught Miocic in the eye.
We'll have the production try to isolate that, folks, to see what it was. I didn't catch it.
Daniel, come here.
Here we go. They've got it. They're on the ball.
My friend. I need
Let's
you to
take a look
clean
at
up.
it.
I've already said 3 times, keep the hands closed. I know it's difficult when you're coming together and need the hands
that's
closed,
like
okay?
Kung
Keep
Fu
them
theater.
closed. Come back in. Come in. Let's go.
So a stern warning from Mark Goddard, who said to DC he's already warned him 3 times. And there's another warning from Mark Goddard. So we'll see if DC can break that habit here. 1 minute to go in round 1.
That was horrible. There's a switch kick to the body by DC. Oh, nice low kick by the champion. And that's something you don't see a lot from Stipe. Stipe does not throw a lot of kicks, primarily boxing based.
Miocic landed a significant right hand there.
Already more strikes landed and thrown during the entire Derek Lewis-Francis Ngannou fight. Oh, look at that, 1-2 by DC.
And then he clinches. Exactly what you got to do.
Oh, he knocks Miocic down! It's a mystery!
He got it done! He got it done!
Daniel Cormier is the UFC heavyweight champion!
Oh man, that is history, ladies and gentlemen. You'll never see it again.
Look at Stipe can't. He just stood up, but he's still hurt.
Yep.
One of the greatest of all time, Daniel Cormier. Unprecedented, rarefied air.
Incredible.
The fact that he won by knockout.
That's what all his coaches were saying. He translates well at this weight. The weight he wears well, he hits harder. He's knocked out everybody he's trained with. That's what they were saying, and here it is.
Stipe Miocic set a new standard for this division, and Daniel put all of that to bed tonight.
Insane. Let's see it again. Look at this here. They're in the clinch. He breaks free. Bam! On the chin. Stipe goes down. Boom, boom, boom. Out cold. Crazy. Look at this again. They're in the clinch. DC lands a perfect right hand. The legs go out. Boom!
And right here, this is what it's about. Clinching at the right time and then dirty boxing at the right time to nullify the height and the power of Stipe from distance. That's what Cormier had to do. He had to choose the right time to box at distance with combinations and then close in the gap. As we see him grab to the clinch, and now he dirty boxes right as he breaks away. It creates opportunities for him. Boom! Overhand right in the clinch, which is basically one of his staples. He got a good overhand right, but you see the power is serious in Daniel Cormier at this weight class. He's a true heavyweight to beat Stipe.
Well, and you said before the fight you believe...
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Mark Goddard has called a stop to this contest at 4 minutes, 33 seconds of the very first round. Declaring the winner by knockout and new undisputed UFC heavyweight champion of the world, Daniel D.C. Cormier.
All right, gentlemen, we've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions. Gonna keep it clean. Touch gloves and let's do it.
Daniel Cormier trying to successfully defend his UFC heavyweight title tonight against the Black Beast Derek Lewis. Our main event for UFC 230 here tonight.
Ready, let's fight.
And we are now underway. Tonight's Fight Clock is brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit. Since 1925, Derek Lewis is in blue, Daniel Cormier in the black and gold, befitting a champion. Lewis opens with a shot to the body, lands underneath that elbow of DC.
Yeah, immediately opens up with a switch kick. Bold move against a wrestler. Oh, nice leg kick. Heavy leg kick by Derek Lewis. DC pressuring him against the cage.
Oh, there's that head kick.
And that is the side that he leans to when he goes for that single.
But here we go, Joe. Here we go. Let's see what happens right here. This is going to say a whole lot about how this fight's going to go.
So less than a minute in, Daniel Cormier gets his first takedown.
And he didn't have to work all that hard for that one.
No, he did not. The level of wrestling, the comparison between the two, it's almost unreachable. Daniel, two-time Olympian, absolutely one of the best wrestlers that's ever competed in MMA. For evidence of that, watch his fight against Dan Henderson, who's also a phenomenal wrestler. And DC ragdolls him.
Saw the highlights of him tossing Josh Barnett, a credentialed heavyweight in his own right. 90 seconds have gone by. DC has this fight seemingly where he wants it early.
Now, this is all about Derek Lewis conserving energy and figuring out how to not get submitted and how to get back up to his feet. But does he have the skill set to do that? Has he worked with great wrestlers? Has he worked technically on getting himself in the proper position to get back up? Hip escaping, utilizing underhooks. So right now, he's got a half guard on the right leg, the left leg of Daniel Cormier. He should be trying to get an underhook on that same side and trying to stand back up.
Yeah, and the real question is, even if he has, Joe, even if he has worked all those things, who's he working with? Who are you going to find that's on the level, not only of wrestling, but now of MMA and experience as Daniel Cormier? It's one thing to prepare for it, and another to get in there with a guy like DC.
Derek's trying to just get up.
Which is dangerous against a guy like Cormier.
Right, but that's how he's done it his whole career, right? He's just gotten up, and he got up.
He's up.
Cormier still maintaining control of the body here,
Paul. For how long? Yeah, he's up, but does he get tripped again? Because DC will let you up just so he can trip you and throw you to the ground again, because it takes a lot of energy to get back up.
Yeah.
And if he does it again and again and again, by the end of the round, you're sapped.
Yeah, exactly. You can get up, but with a guy like DC putting all that weight on you, and he just does it again. Yep. It's just simple single legs, too. It's not like he's not even doing what he's done in the past, where he's got a high crotch, throw guys on their head. So far, Black Beast putting up very little defense on the the takedown side of things, and when he gets down, he can't just keep giving his back up to get up like that. Eventually, DC will find a way to get his arm around your neck.
And he will get too tired to do it effectively, because every time he's doing it, he's basically doing a squat with a 250-pound man on his back.
And of course, it's one thing to get up, it's another to get separation, which Derek Lewis was not able to get after that first takedown attempt. Under 90 seconds to go in the round.
And if Cormier decides that this is how he wants to fight, even if it's for 25 minutes, it doesn't matter if he took this on 3 days' notice. I'm pretty sure that this fight, like this, if it keeps going this way, Cormier could do that. I could call him, he could be on his couch with his kids, and I could be like, hey, I need you to come wrestle for 25 minutes.
Some big ground strikes. That got Lewis's attention.
He took Lewis's back. He's going under the neck. Lewis just doesn't seem to know how to get up here. And even if he knows how,
he's got to watch his neck, man.
Some pretty effective hammer fists from DC.
and this is where you realize how good a wrestler DC really is. We've seen Derek Lewis fight before. We've never seen this.
Cracking right there from Cormier as we approach the 30-second mark here in round one of a possible 5.
I mean, people kind of sleep on DC's skills sometimes for some strange reason.
His knee is down. He's down. Now he's not. He's not down. Now he's down.
But wait a minute. Isn't this the new rules? In the new rules,
2 points here.
He has to pick that hand up, right?
Yeah,
now he's legal. No, it's not. It has to have a foot down.
A hand doesn't.
Yeah.
This is why it's confusing. Me and you are even.
Confusing.
Twice in Derek Lewis's UFC run, he has seen a 4th round. He does have a tendency to pace himself a little bit. He certainly is dangerous late, just as he is dangerous early, but not necessarily the start he nor Bob Perez was looking for tonight.
He's got to get those hands loose. And he's got to lower his stance and create some distance.
Yeah, that's the problem. Derek does stand up very tall, almost has no bend in his knees, which for a wrestler, the caliber of fighter, DC, he's just able to snatch that leg because there's no bend, there's no ability for him to even use his hips to defend a takedown.
Ooh, that's where it gets scary.
Good combination from Derek Lewis. Back to that switch kick.
Anytime you're standing with that guy, it's very scary. Anything can happen. While DC's trying to close that distance, anything can happen. And if he zigs when he should have zagged, he wakes up with a flashlight in his face.
Ooh.
Nice.
Again, always leaning though, leaning towards that right.
Here we go. Is he gonna go for that high crotch? Nope.
Make it 3 takedowns for Daniel Cormier.
But he's right back up.
Yeah, Lewis posted well there.
I think he recognizes how important it is that he not be on his back.
He cannot hang out down there. Wonder if DC's just gonna, he's got it locked up here. I wonder if he's just gonna try to snap him down or land some knees here.
He landed one.
There he
dragging
goes,
him down.
drags him down.
He's gonna make Derek pay.
Nice ankle pick.
Ankle pick.
So Derek Lewis forced to fight off his back yet again. Just over 3 minutes to go here, round 2.
And DC immediately gets him into side control again.
Oh, and he steps over that leg. That's a terrible position to be in. You have no real defense other than turning your back at that point.
And he gives up his back, and Daniel's got one hook in.
Oh, that's it, Joe.
He's got the neck.
Looks like DC's under that chin.
He's got it.
There's the tap. Daniel Cormier defends his UFC heavyweight title. A quick night at the office for the still heavyweight king and one of the greatest of all time, Gilroy High School wrestling coach Daniel Cormier.
And he didn't have to eat one bomb.
Nothing. Nothing.
Slipped and slid his way away from all the haymakers.
And it just shows you how elite Daniel Cormier is and how good the choking game is because, you know, Derek Lewis had never been submitted before. He's been in compromising spots on the ground. That's about as easy as DC could have made it look tonight.
He realized how good a wrestler he really is. See, a lot of people are moving out of this arena shaking their head, though. Like, like they were hoping to see a knockout. They were hoping to see
But that's
the
what's so
upset.
great about it, right? That's why it becomes intriguing. But you almost forget that DC is DC. And even me, I'm like, oh man, can Lewis land that right hand? And then as the fight started, I'm like, no, there's DC doing what I kind of originally expected him to do, and he got the job done.
This replay brought to you by Nemiroff, bold character since 1872.
Well, it was the single leg game of DC all day. He could head outside, inside. It didn't matter whether he was going to pick you up with a high crotch. Here we saw him. He had the head and arm. He snapped it down. That's an amazing little ankle pick. As soon as Lewis popped up, he picked that ankle, got on top, came around, took the back,
threw in the choke, made it look seamless and easy. The champ strikes again. There's a reason this man is one of the greatest mixed martial artists that we have today.
And a big part of the goal tonight was to try to preserve a potential date with Brock Lesnar prior to his 40th birthday, which is March 20th of next year. A massive payday for Daniel Cormier, and certainly he gets the desired result here tonight. He was even smiling.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes, 14 seconds of round number 2, declaring the winner by submission due to a rear naked choke, and still the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion of the world,